If we have a girl, I'd love to make her a matching dress with cute fabric. If it's a boy, I'd like to teach him baseball.
Yeah,
Having one of each would be nice. Right. My spouse and I met at work and got married. We had always said, even before we were married, that we wanted children as soon as possible. Imagining what we'd do with our kids in the future was always a fun time. But after getting married, having kids didn't come easy for us. About 5 years in, we found out the issue was on my husband's side after some fertility tests. He started treatment, taking prescribed meds, but improvement was slow. He quit smoking and drinking, squeezed gym time into his busy schedule, paid more attention to his diet, and even started cooking with organic veggies. I did everything I could too. I quit my job with its heavy workload and night shifts for a desk job, and tried various supplements. We even prayed for a child. We worked hard on this journey together. But after 8 years of marriage, we still hadn't conceived. Hearing coworkers talk about their kids, seeing friends play with theirs, I wondered why I couldn't have that, why I couldn't be a mom. These thoughts consumed me. I became really down, even started keeping to myself at home. Lately, I've been getting headaches, maybe from the meds. I'm tired of trying. Maybe it's time to give up. Life without kids isn't that bad. I started skipping more and more hospital visits, half resigned. Seeing this, my husband suggested a trip. We hadn't been anywhere for a while. Let's refresh with some fresh air and good food for a change. Yes, that sounds good. I wasn't too keen, but since he offered, we decided to go. Wow, the autumn leaves in the mountains are so beautiful. It's already autumn. The serene view from the car window soothed my soul. We enjoyed delicious food at the inn, easing my hardened heart. The next day, we were having coffee in the cafe at the inn's entrance. It's pretty noisy, huh? Looks like they have a lot of guests. The inn's front desk was bustling with people lined up to check out. Being summer vacation, the inn was filled with families. Daddy, Mommy, what about souvenirs? Shall we buy some at the shop next door? Any place you want to go today? I want to go to a farm. I want to see the cows. I'd like some fresh milk right from the cow. Great idea. That's settled then. I can't help but notice families with children. I envy the smiles of those happy families. As we head to the parking lot, every car seems to have a family with kids. My husband, John, watches me looking around with an awkward expression. Can't we have a happy family too? We're almost 40 now. Even if we have a child now, by the time the child comes of age, we will be 60 years old ourselves. My anxiety just keeps growing day by day. Gradually, I began to lose my mental balance and started taking out my frustration on John. Maybe he's fed up with me. Lately, his behavior's been odd. He always had to work some weekends, but now it seems more frequent. He's restless at home and spends a lot more time on his phone. Could it be an affair? But with no solid proof, I'm left in the dark. Maybe I'm just imagining things. One day, John was off work, and we had plans to dine with my friend Ashley that night. It had been a while since we'd meet anyone. But, he said he had something come up and had to leave. Sorry, gotta meet a friend. Only time we both can. Okay. I'll tell Ashley. What came up? You were free until yesterday. He replied, just meeting a colleague, and left. About an hour later, Ashley arrived. Hello, long time no see. Ashley. You seem down. What's up? I told her about the recent issues with John. Then she hesitantly shared some shocking news. I saw John at a cafe in the next town, talking to another woman. Could be a colleague or a friend, I don't know. Ashley's a trustworthy friend from college. She wouldn't lie. Maybe my husband is meeting her under the pretense of working overtime or on a business trip. But I can't know the truth without confirming. Confronting him might just lead to more lies. Staying together might just mean more arguments. I'm mentally unstable too. I couldn't see a happy future for either of us. So, I brought up divorce. What? My husband looked at me with a look of despair when I told him I wanted a divorce. So, I can't give you a child. My husband murmured. Then, he intently stared at me. I'm sorry, I'm just too tired. When I said that, my husband quietly shook his head. No, you're not to blame. It's all my fault. After that, we went to see a lawyer for further procedures, and I packed my things and left the house.
I threw myself into work to try and forget about her. I'd be the first at the office in the morning and the last to leave at night, working alone. I gave up my days off, filling most of my time with work. But no matter how busy I got, I couldn't stop thinking about my wife. Before sleeping, I'd find myself wondering, what is she doing now? Is she doing okay? Then, I'd remember something that had always bothered me. Was she really having an affair? Before the divorce, I often came home to find her ending a video call. She'd quickly shut the computer, but I always saw the same middle-aged man on the screen. I never brought it up, though I was curious. Maybe she's with that man now. Maybe they're building a happy family, with kids. That night, whoa, I woke up to my own screaming. I couldn't remember the dream, but I knew it was a terrible nightmare. I felt a chilling cold that made me tremble. This is bad. Surprised by my unusual state, I took the next morning off work and went to hospital. They said I was suffering from excessive fatigue and stress, and advised me to take a break. After that, I felt drained, like an empty shell. I couldn't bring myself to work and decided to quit my job, citing health reasons. Then, I started a reclusive life at home, thinking about how I need to start living healthier.
3 years had passed since he and I split up. After leaving my job, I moved back to my hometown to live with my mom. I started experiencing discomfort in my lower abdomen and frequently suffered from nausea and dizziness. Given my age, it wouldn't be unusual for my hormonal balance to be off. I decided to visit a gynecologist. Dr. Smith, the gynecologist, told me something astonishing. You're pregnant. What? Incredibly, I was carrying a child. Certainly my ex-husband's. But I couldn't bring myself to tell him immediately. After the selfish way we parted, I didn't know how to face him. How could I even bring this up now? Besides, he probably has a new family by now. With these thoughts, I kept to myself, day by day. My daughter started asking, why don't I have a dad? Struggling with an explanation, I told her, Daddy is in heaven. Then, I started working in a factory during the day, leaving my daughter with my mom. The standing work was tough at first, and I'd come home exhausted every day. But my daughter's adorable smile was always a comfort. One day, on a day off, as I was living through these daily routines, I received an email from the grocery delivery company I usually order from online, announcing they were hosting a pop-up event at a nearby market. They have a special sale just for a limited time. I've got to go. I took my mother and daughter in the car and headed to the store. We're here. Let's go shopping. Holding my daughter's hand, we walked into the building, and at the back of the food section, where vegetables and fruits were displayed, I saw a sign reading, Natural Food Delivery. We entered the small store. Welcome. A familiar voice greeted my daughter and me. To my astonishment, there stood my ex-husband, John, looking stunned. He was surprised to see my face. Linda. John. We stood in silence for a while, just looking at each other. Then my daughter asked, Mommy, who is this man? Oh, he's a friend of Mommy's. It's been a long time, Linda. Can we talk for a bit? John suggested, so I nodded. I left my daughter with my mother and we went to the nearby cafe. We sat down and ordered hot coffee. I can't believe you work at that store. I started the conversation, and he gave a shy smile in response. After I got sick, I quit the company. Remember the organic food store I used to go to for my health? I heard they were starting an online delivery service and I switched careers. But to think, Linda, you were ordering from our store, that was a surprise. I've always been using that store. I trembled, barely able to speak. You got married again, she's a cute kid. he said softly, looking down a bit sadly. I couldn't hold back and shouted. That's not it. That's not true. That child, she's your child. Really, is that true? Covering my face with my both hands, I cried out loud, telling him everything. He listened intently, his face showing constant surprise. I thought you might have remarried that woman you were seen with, living happily. That's why I couldn't contact you, I said, and John looked shocked. An affair? What are you talking about? Ashley told me she saw you talking closely with another woman. I confronted him. That's not true, that was an advisor from the Men Unable to Conceive support group. Really? Yeah, I joined since we couldn't have kids even after long treatment. It was a group to learn how to approach wife about it. But I couldn't tell you, Linda, you were trying so hard. I'm so sorry. I was tired back then and couldn't think straight. I was choked up with unstoppable tears. And tears were falling from his eyes too. Didn't you have an affair? You were always talking to men online. But I had no right to say anything, it was my fault we couldn't have kids. I thought you'd be happier with a new family, so I accepted the divorce. No, that was a counselor. I was feeling unstable, starting to take it out on you, and I was seeking advice on what to do. I thought I might have been making things worse, pressuring you because we couldn't have kids. So that's how it was. He looked relieved. After the divorce I thought. I should have been more approachable to each other. I should have respected your feelings. If only we could remember the days when we were newlyweds and get back to being a close couple. But even if I think about that now, we can't start over again. That's why I couldn't contact you. But I wanted to tell you about her, and I didn't know what to do anymore. I was filled with regret, embarrassment, and apology, and the tears wouldn't stop. I'm sorry. Don't cry, Linda. He offered a handkerchief, trying to comfort me. If the misunderstanding is cleared up, then that's good. Would you consider starting over with me again? His words made me lift my face and look into his eyes. Can you forgive me? Yes. When you asked for a divorce, I thought it was because I couldn't have children, so I gave up. I accepted the divorce because I wanted your happiness. But I've never forgotten about you, Linda. I still love you. Hot tears streamed down my cheeks. I wiped them with the handkerchief he lent me and said, "Thank you." Hey, Daddy. Was it hard coming back from heaven to our house? Our daughter, who thought her father had gone to heaven, asked him with a puzzled look. Well, it was a bit difficult. But Mommy came to meet me halfway, so I could find my way back home. Our daughter said with a smile, "That's good." I exchanged smiles with my husband. We had our ups and downs, but I'm glad we talked everything through. Now, we're living a happy life as a family of 3.